And we are back with breaking news. A judge has just denied bail for Sean Diddy Combs. We are now joined by Channa again. Channa, your reaction. Are you surprised?
I'm a little surprised, but I think that this judge looked at the letters that were submitted. He looked at the government's arguments, and essentially he's in the home stretch, right? He's already served what would be technically a portion of his sentence, and the judge probably wants no mishaps, and he does not want it to happen on this during his tenure.
And some more context to that. Judge Subramanian said, quote, "The jury convicted the defendant of counts 3 and 5, and for the following reasons, bail is denied." And we sort of have lost that sight a little bit as we're talking about this case unfold today, because while Sean Combs was acquitted of the most serious charges, he still was convicted of 2.
Absolutely.
So what happens now? What's the process moving forward?
So now he will remain incarcerated as he has been. We will have this sentencing hearing that will come forth, like I said, in approximately 30 to 60 days. They're going to get recommendations from the Department of Sentencing and Corrections. They will also get arguments from both the prosecution, which is going to include all aggravating factors. They're also going to get all mitigating factors from the defense. He will hear arguments, and then he will set the sentence.
And the judge, and just to follow this up, the judge agrees with federal prosecutors and their argument that detention is, quote, mandatory for the Mann Act conviction. Now, help us understand, because counts 3 and 5, we're dealing with the Mann Act, which deals with prostitution.
Correct.
Right. What is the Mann Act, and what does that mean in sort of layperson's terms?
So it's essentially taking someone from place to place. It was named after the Sentinel case. It was basically taking.
And it was created in the 1900s,
correct.
1910, I believe.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it was really to ensure that, and this is what the argument was of the defense, right? It was traditionally so that way we did not have people being moved for prostitution. And it was somewhat racially based, some would argue. So that is why that argument came up in the beginning when they said that he was even being charged with this. There was that argument that there are Caucasian men that do this all the time because he is an African American man, that he is being prosecuted under this act that is hardly ever used. However, the judge found that it is persuasive because what they want to make sure is that this person doesn't continue to do this while out.
Right.
He still has to be sentenced. And so it's not as though he got acquitted of everything today and can just go home. And so the judge found that persuasive.
Certainly an argument that Cassie Ventura's attorney echoed as well. Channa Lloyd, stand by. We want to go to Kemberly Richardson now because she's just outside the courthouse with this reaction. And you have these people there waiting. They thought there was a chance that they could see Sean Combs walk out of that courthouse tonight. We know that's not going to happen.
That is not going to happen, Mike, and you're right. People started gathering here earlier today when the verdict was announced. In fact, the NYPD for a time this afternoon shut down Worth here in front of the federal courthouse to traffic because the crowd was growing. NYPD officers are out here right now. But yes, they were waiting, hoping to see Sean Combs walk out of the front door here, his family also. But in those letters to the judges, both sides, the attorneys, the defense wrote in part, they said he needs and wants to be with and remain with his family. The government, in its letter to the judge, insisted keeping Combs behind bars, saying it sends a dangerous message that wealth and influence can shield someone indefinitely from accountability. Another person we have heard from today through her attorney, Cassie Ventura, she weighed in after the verdict, and she said she believes that Combs is likely to pose a danger to the victims who testified in this case, including herself and the community. So the judge listening in the end to the prosecutor, keeping Sean Combs behind bail. Remember when behind bars. Remember when the verdict was read, Combs dropped to his knees. At one point, the judge said, you know, we may or may not send you back to MDC. He was shaking his head. No, I do not want to go back there. It looks like right now, at this point, he is heading back to that federal prison. The next step, sentencing, we will learn a date when that will happen. I don't think that has come down yet, but that's the next step in that. So between now and then, Sean Combs will go right back where he was this morning. He will not be going to his mansion in Miami.